In this day and age, with people having more possibilities than ever before, you would think they would put in time and effort into creating their dream life. And in actuality, it will only take a few years of time of true dedication to have an overall improved quality of life, let's just say 50, 60, 70% even. Many still struggle to do so and even never achieve their true potential. In today's video, we are going to uncover some of the reasons why that's actually the case. At once, I start with the very deep, real thing when it comes to human history and why so many things have been going wrong all the time throughout the centuries. And that is being a certain goal, a certain agenda is being pushed in order to keep people well below their potential. You have to understand that many people up to the recent times had actually no idea what was going on, and in actuality, if there was something going on. Do not get me wrong, there always had been people throughout human history being capable of seeing through the bullshit, in actuality warning the people of their time. But they were simply outnumbered by the dumb, stupid people who didn't want to listen to the truth. They didn't want to listen to any new information that completely contradicted to what they had been conditioned to. And even in today's time, though so many people have been thrown lies and propaganda straight into their faces, they absolutely do not want to listen. And why is that though? One of the many reasons is lack of focus. You have to understand, in today's time, it's all about technology. It's all about multitasking. You have to influence the young at a very early age on in order for them to function as the adults that a certain establishment wants them to be later on. Adults are set in their ways, so it's very difficult to influence them, manipulate them in a way so they walk the path that the establishment wants them to do. So actually, it would take a lot of energy, like creating scenarios in the world that bring people down to their knees, especially when it comes to money. Children, on the other hand, they are way closer to source energy. What do I mean by that? They simply haven't been through this horrendous manipulation system called school, college, university, and later on the workforce. They haven't been through the mockery of teenagers during sad times. They still believe that mom and dad know everything, that they are perfect, that they are there for them and always protecting, which usually starts to change around the ages of 11, 12, 13. That's when young children understand that their parents actually don't know everything and are not so great, to be honest. So it's very important to go and influence them, making it believable to them that a world without technology is close to impossible to even realize, to imagine, because they are already addicted to technology as young as possible. Technology in today's world is all about multitasking and rarely monotasking, which, for example, books represent. Multitasking splits the attention of the individual to all what is going on to accomplish as much as possible in a certain time frame. And you would think that's a great thing, right? In the beginning stages, yes, it was. In today's world, though, it isn't. Let me give you easy examples. People eating food without watching YouTube is boring. People watching a video while not watching on a second or third or fourth screen is boring. People reading something on their phone, why not at the same time having conversations with maybe 6, 7 people through messenger apps, is boring. People simply standing somewhere without their phone is boring, makes them nervous because they are not reachable via phone. They don't hear the click sounds. They themselves actually identify with technology. Without it, they don't know what to do. They do not know where to put their hands on the body, on the table, behind them, on their chest, whatever the case it is. They don't know where to stand. They don't know where to look. They don't know what to do. They don't actually know what to say because they are so drawn to technology actually already that they simply do not know what else to do. Lack of focus. They don't know how to walk. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to present themselves to the world to achieve a certain goal. technology helped them to overcome certain insecurities. Once the phone is not reachable, they don't know what to do. Once again, lack of focus. You have to understand that the agenda, the establishment of each time, each century, never allowed the people to reach their potential, not even close. They don't want a society knowing its power, a society that has focus, that has strength, that is powerful, an all-knowing society that is thirsty for information, for wisdom. They want to listen to, they want to hear stories, they want to focus, they want to strengthen their focus and not be occupied with all what is going on, left, right, above, down, below. This is just too much, and people are in today's time bombarded with information, which is also about multitasking, watching news on the phone, watching something on TV, hearing something on the radio, writing with people through messenger apps, once again, having a conversation through Zoom, Discord, whatever the case it is all left and right, above and below. And people can't deal with that. People who have two phones, who have tablets, iPads, they're actually also surrounded by technology, yet they have their shit together because they have done the inner work that I put great emphasis on in all of my videos, that you have to know who you are. And when you know who you are not bombarded in the same way like people are. They are completely overwhelmed with all what is going on. And in many cases, they do not want to know what is going on because they wouldn't be able to sleep. People who do the inner work don't feel overwhelmed. The same bombardment of information, they can deal with it actually, because they have also learned to monotask, to strengthen their attention, because they have been spending quite a lot of time with themselves, figuring out who they are, seeking the truth, facing yourself. That means you have to put attention on a certain subject to achieve a certain goal. In this case, knowing who you are in the end. High attention simply means an individual is able to focus for extended periods of time without losing focus, interest, and energy until a certain outcome is achieved, a certain goal is achieved. For example, they want to watch a YouTube video of 45-minute length. For people who read books, for people who do meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, where the focus is on themselves, or any other case where you have to sit in stillness and silence to do certain things, to achieve certain things, certain goals, means you have strengthened your attention span over extended periods of time, not just during the session, but also for time itself, months, years, decades even. You do not lose focus, you do not lose interest, you are not getting bored by something that you are doing. While the mob, for example, once again when it comes to YouTube videos, they quite easily lose focus watching those. Even though those YouTube videos are heavily edited, heavily cut, every 5 seconds there's a cut, there's a zooming in, zooming out, left, right, going something above and beyond. And the big guys of YouTube actually claim that they are very, very happy if their watch time meets halfway through. So a video of 12 minutes, for example, from those big guys, heavily edited. The attention span of the mob is 0 actually. Why else would someone like that, who has, for example, 1 million subscribers, say that they are happy that from those 12 minutes, 6 minutes are being watched, the rest not? So it doesn't matter how big of an influence you are in today's world, how great you are, what kind of information you're actually delivering. In most cases, those people usually just create entertainment content. Yet still, people are not interested, cannot keep focus on what they are doing, what they are watching in front of them. It becomes boring if certain cuts, edits, zooming in and out are not achieved. Because there's no focus, lack of focus. Once again, books strengthen focus. Why? Because you have to occupy yourself in order to read that book. You need to understand what you're reading. You need to imagine the world that you are delving in. Someone who has no focus, who lacks ambition, can't even read 20 pages. That becomes boring. A book doesn't give you some pop-ups, that you have a message from a friend or that you have an email from a company. What you have in front of you is what you have in front of you. A simple book printed at a certain time, so you have it in your hands. That's the information given in that book. And that's it, whatever it is. Fantasy books, romance books, history books, science fiction, fantasy, once again, I don't know, money, personal development in today's time. That's it. It's just all in that one book and the cover that certain individual is looking at. If they want to know something else, they would either buy a new book, go to the bookstore and look around. Through technology, you can just turn on your phone, swipe left and right, and read whatever you want to read. That's all being possible through high attention span. Moronic morons, or how I like to call them nowadays, the mob. This is a funny word actually. The mob is not interested in finding out or to determine if something is of interest, if something is of value. Simple example. Someone has 10,000 viewers. They are a streamer. Someone else has, for example, just 100. Most people will go to the 10,000 person and not the 100 guy, girl. Why? Because in their awareness, if someone already has 10,000 viewers, that means they are established. Other people have made the choice and the decision to spend their time on those or on that those streamers, and not giving in time to find out if, for example, the one with just 100 is a better choice to begin with. Why? Because the mob believes that their time is precious. They want to know all the information as quickly as possible without doing much of an investigation. Therefore, for example, if certain people do certain types of YouTube videos, you can see certain comments written down below that people write, why is the video not shorter? Because their time, right, is so precious, they are so important in this world, yet they completely struggle in life. If someone struggles in life, if they are not where they want to be, you better listen to those who know it, who had already gone the walk, that path of loneliness in order to achieve that high set goal. Yet they want to know it faster, easier, quicker. They want to swallow a pill to have a six-pack. They want to just read 1 or 2 pages of a book to know the entire outcome of the book. The mob has never been interested in finding out the truth, has never been interested in actually determine if something is of value, because that would mean you have to spend time in order to find out if something is good or it isn't. If someone doesn't know who she is, they will not do that. They will simply follow the crowd where the 10,000 other people are, or the millions of subscribers are. Even though that type of content might be completely bullshit. And the one with 100 subscribers, 100 viewers, does extraordinary great content of value. But it's overlooked. Because they are not, once again, interested. They do not have high attention span. They want to have the video delivered in a certain way that they are used to already. Like the newer generations, they need the edits, the crazy cutting. Cut. Once again. Otherwise, they're not able to consume the video. It becomes quickly boring. A monologue over 40 minutes plus. Crazy. Who the fuck do you think you are that I'm gonna watch your 40-minute long video? once you introduce certain elements of money, how to make money, how to invest 10,000, how to become a millionaire, then these people are going to watch. Why? Because once again, I've said it quite a few times in my videos, and I'm gonna quote it here again. Money and death is what all people around the planet understand, especially the stupid ones. Everything of higher value, spirituality, energy, living in peace with yourself and the universe, knowing a successful, easygoing, interesting life, they don't understand that. They cannot grasp it because they can't feel it. And what they can't feel, they won't do because it doesn't make sense to them. That is very unfortunate to realize. High attention span also means someone likes to simply monotask and get things done. They do not lose focus, they do not lose interest, they do not lose the ability to focus until that certain goal that they have in mind is completely achieved and done. When it comes to books, those people like to immerse themselves into the world that they are reading. Once again, when we come to the fantasy books, they like to imagine the world. They like to imagine how it feels, how it smells, how the people might be dressed, what they might be thinking, how they're interacting with each other. That's all an immersion that people are willing to go into. While people of today's time, if they read at all, it's usually just a book about personal development, money, and eventually if their idol, big YouTuber, big streamer, is publishing a book about themselves. That's what usually the young generations read all about, and that's it. Simply about money. Yes, they might later have the money that I have explained in the last video of mine last week ago, but they are soulless in the end. They have just learned to mimic people, to do certain things to accomplish a certain goal. And once that path is not being able to be done, to be walked anymore, because certain obstacles have been put in place by the system or by other people, or this walk simply doesn't walk anymore, it doesn't walk itself. They don't know what to do because they had never been creative before. They were simply following instructions, orders like the rest, and that's it, because they were never interested in being creative to begin with. Because what is that creativity? What is that book reading? That's boring. Nothing is happening. You're just by yourself, with yourself, holding that book in your hands, and that's it. And now you have what? To imagine the world that you're reading. You have to imagine the interactions, imagine how the people are dressed, once again, how they talk, blah, blah, blah. You have to imagine that. People want to simply type and just imagine for the future. If they already now just want to type and use ChatGPT and all this new AI technology, that they type certain text and the tools create an image or a video, whatever the case it is. Just imagine in the future not reading books at all, just going to a place, talking something to a computer, and the computer completely creates an entire room, a fictional room, so that the individual is able to imagine that by seeing it already at once, not having to imagine, but already seeing it. It's just generated and they're seeing it right now. That will be the only possibility for many people, unfortunately, to even have some sort of creativity. What they will be calling creativity is complete lack of creativity in the end. It's a complete lack of focus. And that is a very sad thing. Books are also all out simply because of certain information given. When you publish a book, it is a set information. To a certain time, certain information was put into the book, it was printed, it was sold. That's it. If new information were about to come out, people would have to buy the new book. Via technology, you can simply, for example, update an internet page. You can edit the text, click on update and upload it, and people can easily see it then. Whatever the case it is, you can take off a video, upload a new video. You can even, by new technology, edit the old video and make it seem new. New information put in an old video. You can't do that with a book because it isn't available to everyone. It's just a copy for you alone. Books are also out or old-fashioned simply because of time. They get damaged. They are just a piece of block, whatever that book is, and that's it. Technology is always developing itself, meaning new design, new methods, new possibilities. Just the phone again. There's so many different phones out there, and each year they're updating. One time there will be probably no phones anymore. We'll just click something and a hologram is popping up. And all the information you can just simply read in front of you. When you read a book, there is also no gimmick. There's nothing happening. It's just, once again, you and yourself. There's no popping up sounds. There's nothing going on. There is no battery indicator if the screen is going off, like on a phone, on a screen in general, nothing. It's just you and the book. And simply because of people not being able to be alone with themselves. What does it mean to read a book? You have to be alone with yourself to understand what you're reading, to fully immerse yourself, to be in that book, to enjoy reading the book. Yeah, you can read something and not understand it because you are not focused on what you're actually reading. Through technology, there is usually text and images by swiping. Text, image, video, text, blah, blah, blah. So people can see something. They don't have to imagine it because there's the picture. There's the video. There's some text, picture, video. Nothing to imagine. Another reason why people also do not read books is simply because there is no anticipation when it comes to a book. Like it is, for example, when you are reading something on your phone. You know that eventually there might be a message popping up. There might be an email coming in. Something will be happening. And people, because they identify themselves with technology, and some morons, unfortunately, will even go the walk. See, I can't talk. That's a bad sign already. They want to merge with technology, cyborg, which is the path of destruction. They identify themselves with technology. They already anticipate certain things to happen throughout the day. They will get a message. They will get a phone call. They will get an email. They will do certain things and hopefully want to have certain types of goals achieved throughout the day, weeks and months, and so on. They can't be without technology anymore. They need to hold something. They need to have a smartwatch. They need to have their earplugs already deep inside. You know, they are close to invisible to other people because they're so small and tiny. That's all to get technology inside the body, because that is the goal, once again, of the establishment of today. There's a certain goal or a certain agenda being pushed. And a society that knows its power, that is focused, that has razor sharp attention span, would be able to focus and actually realize what is going on all across the planet, and be able to connect whatever is going on and see that actually nothing is random. But a society without focus, lack of focus, can't even focus, completely lost. There's no chance. The dangers also of not reading books, especially with the younger generations, they can't articulate themselves. They don't know how to present themselves. Just imagine back in time when you were at school. How many people were able to fluently talk in front of an audience, properly, and fully delivering great value in what they are doing? Usually, These teenagers were about to stutter, they couldn't talk, they're getting red all in their faces, they didn't know what to do, some even peed themselves and it was funny. They don't know simply how to present themselves. The way they talk also shows that they probably don't read books anymore. And if they are reading a book, they can't even properly read. That is especially the case when you watch big YouTubers when they play horror games and they have a diary in front of them. Or in newer horror games, usually the phone is more the case to be seen. There's text and they can't read properly. That's a sad thing as well. Another reason, or another point, let's just say it that way, they don't own any books. They simply do not have any physical books anymore in their homes. And you might say, okay, but someone might have books on their phone. Once again, it's not the same thing. You're holding something that emits an electric field. You are already occupied by that field. Something else is interfering with your auric field. Okay? That's just an energetic part. Another thing, once again, there is no gimmicks. Nothing popping up. Someone who is reading on their phone. And yes, there are people who have an incredible library on their phone. But they're usually a different type of breed because they have read already physical books to begin with. They have strengthened their attention span. So yes, there are also people out there who have their shit together. Once again, they're surrounded by technology. They're maybe only reading on the phone. But they have razor sharp focus. They are not distracted by gimmicks, popping up sounds, whatever the case it is. They do not even anticipate something. They might even go on plane mode when they are reading a book. Those type of people I'm not referring to. If you are reading on a book, on an iPad, on a TV even, and you are not getting distracted by everything what is going on around you, you are absolutely not being referred to because you have razor sharp focus and you have a different life than most people do. You are not lost, where they are lost completely. They are not even aware that they are lost. You, on the other hand, know what you're reading, that someone eventually tries to manipulate you, and how to go for the next steps. And you're happy being alone with yourself, otherwise you wouldn't be reading books. You wouldn't be able to imagine the world that you're reading, because it would be close to impossible for someone who is lost to suddenly have the strength to focus for extended periods of time, because they do not have any attention span to begin with. I can imagine for those people, they would have to read a book in a way that the pages would pop out, zoom in, go left, right, the pages magically go left and right on their own, and then back again to the page they're actually reading right now, and then they would be able to focus, some sort of magic book. A book that is doing a lot of things on its own would actually distract people like myself, and eventually you as well. You are maybe even, once you realize, let's go back to the YouTubers for a second. Because once you see something, you cannot unsee it anymore. That's also with the case with the videos that I'm doing, where I'm showing people what is really going on, certain symbols, certain hidden agendas. Once you realize what is going on, you can't unsee it anymore. You see the same world with different eyes. Once you're actually aware of the cutting, you might actually be annoyed by it, completely be distracted. That is zooming in and out. It's like horrendous nonsense. I can't focus on stuff like that. The newer generations, though, can't focus on videos like I do. Monologue. Something where you eventually even have to read. Like, what the fuck is that? They have now to read text. They have to understand and listen to someone, for example, talking without those heavy cuts and editing for 25 minutes plus. That's They're lost. They're completely lost. And that's a sad thing. Can you get people back to reading books on a large scale? Unfortunately, no, you can't. A very simple answer to that. If something isn't from within, if something doesn't come from within, the individual will never do something on their own because there is no need to. Usually, people are being forced to change, forced to adapt, forced to overcome themselves through external forces, like the system. Yeah? Right now, the system is bringing a lot of people down to their knees when it comes to finances, when it comes to geological, strategic points. Certain people have to move. Certain people want to do certain thing on certain places. Yeah, I cannot be so specific about that. And they have a goal that the establishment, for example, wants to be achieved in a certain time frame. And people who do not know who they are, people who are not strong, people who lack focus, who lack ambition, who lack any goals in life, simply don't know what to do, will follow orders like the rest. Because they don't know who they are. Usually people only change if something dramatic is happening in their lives. Something of importance, something of a traumatic event. Certain people die, certain accidents happen, certain whatevers. That's the only time frame that someone is willing to listen and willing to change. And that is actually a very short period of time, usually just 4 or 5 weeks, that's it. And then they're closed again because of the emotional trauma, they have to deal with that. So the mind is already occupied with something different. The people of the newer generations only read books if their idol is bringing something out, publishing something about their own life, about their own achievements. Because they're so cool and hipster, that's the only reason to buy a book. That's it. Fantasy books, romance books, something like back in the days of Harry Potter, which brought immense magic to the world. That is unheard of. There's nothing like that anymore. Because to people it's boring. So if you are someone who is still reading books, you're going to the bookstore, you're buying them, you're supporting all the writers, know that you are a rare breed. You are very, very different. You are not lost. You have focus. You have still incredible hope in yourself that you can get your life fixed quickly. Or if it is already fixed, or you never had problems to begin with because you were always different. You simply know that you can accomplish your dream life in a very short period of time if you really, truly, honestly dedicate yourself to it. Because you have focus. You have strengthened your attention span over years. You might even watch YouTubers mostly that are reading books. There are people out there who read books for the public. And there are a lot of people who like to listen. And those who listen also like to read books themselves. You're not lost, you still have hope. And because you have that, and I always put once again great emphasis on all the subject of knowing who you are, so you can in the end enjoy a fully honest life with money and be completely happy and not miserable, falling into pits of despair like the rest because of all the external things going on Earth, all across the planet. Because certain people want to do certain things and have some certain goals achieved. And you are different. And you don't bow down to it. And you always find a way to make your life great in the end. And not like the rest, who usually simply follow orders and don't know what to do and simply look up to heaven and cry and pray and oh my God, please save me and blah blah blah. And usually there's no safeness in that. Because the Almighty has given everyone, every living being, Free will. It's your free will if you want to read books, if you want to strengthen your attention span, if you want to strengthen your creativity, the ability to think outside the norm, as outside of the box given by the system to keep people in check, to make sure that they don't break out. Books are a great thing for that, because through books, through monotasking, painting, meditation, qigong, reading books, martial arts in general, everything which just focuses you on yourself with a few items at hand and nothing else on the external. So playing games by yourself is not monotasking. This is already multitasking, stimulating. It's just you and you alone. Have the courage to be yourself.